Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday session here at Namaste Village. At Namaste Village, it is our silent day. We try to keep one day of quiet in the community areas because we want to be a contemplative community. In other words, a community where we are looking inward. And so often in life where everything is happening out here, it's difficult to keep that focus. So they have one day where we're encouraged to look within, to keep it quiet here as much as we can, and to look within. But it's obviously an inner stillness, much more than an outer stillness. Yes, we do have to close our mouths, but in addition to that, we have to be willing to just simply hold still within. I'm going to go ahead and mute Margie for now so that there's no background noise. So you'll just have to unmute her before she comes on. So it's this inner stillness that gives us a consistency of focus. Yeah, focus. And I want to talk a little bit about that today. The consistency of focus. We're not going to get anything specific here, meaning no stories, but there has been an example of one who has held this consistent focus extremely well. And then, as we sometimes do, we forget, we wander off. But that consistent focus and a resolute, unwavering focus on what is true, which dispels all illusions. This is what we are calling forth. Let me say that one more time. A resolute, unwavering focus on what is true dispels all illusions. But we have a tendency to waver, don't we? We have a tendency to wander away, and some nice little shiny thing pulls us in a different direction. And that's perfectly okay. We have to remember that there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no good way of doing this. There is just the way. And of course, the way is love itself. You know, I was thinking yesterday as I was driving somewhere here in Manzanillo, how we sometimes see something without really seeing it, or we hear something without really hearing it. This dawned on me as I was driving, and I forgot that I had my turn signal on. It must have been on for a couple of minutes. And of course, there's a loud clicking noise that you hear when the turn signal is on to tell you that your turn signal is on. And of course, I heard it because my ears are good and I could hear it, but I didn't hear it. It was going at least for a couple of minutes and it didn't register. I was hearing it, but it wasn't registering. Likewise, we've all probably had times in our lives where we're looking for something and it's right there in front of us and we don't see it. We do see it, but it doesn't register. This happened to me a couple of days ago. I was looking for something. I was looking for it on this desk because I knew that that's where I left it. I'm looking for it, and it is not there. And I turn away, and then I turn back, and suddenly it appears like magic right in front of me. It didn't really appear. It didn't really disappear and then reappear. It was always there, but I could see it, but I couldn't see it. Now, likewise, we can go one step further. I can see it, but then I lose the vision. And it's at this point that this unwavering focus on what is true, this resolute focus on what is true is so important. This is what we are trying to maintain here through these Namaste Village sessions, to maintain this resolute, unwavering focus on what is true, because that is what dispels all illusions. As soon as we are not unwavering, as soon as we are not focused, then the illusion returns and we get caught up in it thinking that we're moving forward when we're perhaps moving backwards. Not always. I know I'm speaking a little cryptically because it's not important to give away any details of what actually happened. But it was a fascinating lesson for me. And this is the really important thing. The only one that needs to get this is me. It's not about looking at, oh, look at that person. That person seemed to have it all together. And now they've wandered off in a completely different direction. That's all fine, but it's not about me judging that other person. It's about asking, how does this apply to my own journey? Well, I want to add one more thing to this before I bring on Calico, and that is I think maybe the most important element to keep that unwavering, resolute focus on what is true, and that's humility. To never get to the point where I lift myself up and say, I got this. Look at me now. Because that is probably when the old spiritual 2x4 is going to come in and whack you upside the head. Even though you may not realize that's what it is, you may joyfully wander off and think, well, this is what's happening now. There's something new, and I'm going to follow the shiny object that has caught my attention now, all the while not realizing that I've wandered back into the dream. So once again, this is about me, and we all need to say this. It's not about the other person. It's never about judging the other person. It's about, what is this telling me about my own journey, about my own awakening, about how I can so easily lose that resolute, unwavering focus on what is true and then fall back into the illusion. Well, we're going to have a discussion about that today. And I want to begin. Oh, by the way, Vicky's not here today, so that's why I've invited both Calico and Margie to join us. But I'm going to start with Calico, because Calico and I had a discussion about this yesterday, and I just love when Calico shares. So Calico, if you are there, take it away.
I am. And yeah, I've been thinking about our conversation since yesterday also. And, it goes back to this, I was one of those people early on. I couldn't meditate because mind wandering was kind of an Olympic sport for me. And I didn't know how to quiet my mind. And it was like any shiny, sparkly object, I was off, I was off and seeking. And there was a friend of James's and I that had a sparkly, shiny object come into his life, and he went off. And it was fascinating to watch my mind. And my first thought was disappointment. And then I thought, okay, why am I disappointed in myself? Because everything that occurs out there has nothing to do with out there. It has to do with my own mind. So if I am feeling disappointed, where am I disappointing myself? And I really went into it and looked, and it's this, be vigilant only for God and his kingdom. And for me right now, the most important piece of this is God's kingdom. God's kingdom is not a place. God's kingdom is love. So be vigilant only for God and love, period. Nothing else. Those desires, and yeah, and we were talking about, when we were younger and we had massive desires, shiny sparkly was the theme for the day. And it's like, getting pulled left and right with, I want a better partner. I want more money. I want a different job. I want to look different. It's all those desires that get in the way of me being vigilant only for God and his kingdom. And I still have to stay very vigilant only for God and love. And I use the word love because I want to say it like it is for me. I want to see only love. And that's, if I can see that in myself, then I can extend that to everything. But if I don't see that in myself, I can't extend it to anything. So when this happened with this friend of ours, I immediately made it personal that something wasn't okay. And I had to come back and see, I love him. Doesn't matter how many sparkly things he goes after. I love him. And I know because he has such a foundation in the truth, he'll be back. But it's not for me to figure out when and where. And it's not for me to even say anything. It's for me to just be vigilant for God and love and stay there. And boy, I tell you, that's a daily reprieve, really. I mean, I wake up first thing in the morning, and before my feet touch the floor, I remind myself, this is not home. Home is the loving kingdom in my mind. And I have to really seek that only. And anything else that gets in the way of that will take me into bad neighborhoods. That's all I can say. It takes me into bad neighborhoods, and my mind takes off on an ego trip that only ends in me suffering. And since I refuse to suffer any longer, and that means I will say whatever I need to say. My big thing is I am no longer people pleasing. And I express what there is on my mind because I have no secrets anymore. I mean, I'm vigilant only for God and love, and the access to that is to keep that as primary. And all those other little games that I used to play with my ego, I can no longer play. I have to put those toys away. They're no longer helpful. And I'm only going for the tools that work to keep me vigilant for God and love. So thank you, James. And I love our quiet days on Wednesday because it really is me and God. And that's so worthwhile to spend a lot of time on, in remembering, I am God. I was created as God. I am love. So there you go.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Love you.
Thank you so much. Yes, these quiet days are a good day for us to be vigilant only for love, because that's our only focus. We don't have to have lots of different things, conversations, debates, whatever it is going on, to be vigilant only to love. And that is vigilance. It takes focus, and it can remind us how easy it is for us to wander off and start chasing after these other shiny objects. But I would love to hear what our dear minister Margie has to share about this. So Margie, you had no idea where we were going with this today. You're just a champ to go with the flow. So what is stirring in your heart on this subject?
Well, I may not have known it. But that our human self, our personality, can certainly drag us off with the shiny objects and the distraction over here and the new focus about that and the best new idea you ever heard. Well, I had one of those best new ideas this week, came to me delivered in a conversation with a new friend. And I know it was a good idea, and I know it's a concrete anchor of focus for me because I remember the scripture chapter and verse, and I never remember chapter and verse. This is Psalms 118, verse 5. I called from the narrow place to God, and he answered me from the wideness of God. Now, you won't find that translation of that verse in our usual Christian scriptures. It's part of the morning prayers in Jewish tradition at festival occasions. And that translation that I shared, that exploded in my mind as it was spoken to me. And instead of wideness, which I found online, the gentleman called it the spaciousness of God. And doesn't that just, I hope, light something in your minds? And where is that narrow place? This 6 inches right here, yes? the narrow place that gets us often into trouble, when we can't hold our focus, when we're distracted, when we lose our holy self in the self of personality. And to think, all I have to do is call to God, and I can leave the narrow place and find the spaciousness that is the holy space that I want to live in, and I want to live in me. When I'm teaching in a unity space, I tell people, I know the truth of you. I know who you are. Each of us is a magnificent creation of God. James says this statement, we use it in unity all the time. We each are a magnificent creation of the divine, clothed in this body and this personality, to be that presence of God right here in this life, manifest on the planet right now. And in that truth, we know that each of us came here with our soul implanted with a holy and sacred purpose for this lifetime. Now, I will not be doing peace work around the world. I will not be doing Mother Teresa work somewhere in a neighborhood in my home, but I will be doing my best to create the peace that the world wants and that I want to see in the world within my own heart, within my own being, within my own life and community, however far that extends. That's my work to do in the world. Each of us has a seed planted in us, calling us to something of that love that Calico spoke to. Only love. So I am grateful for all the ideas of focus that come to me, because I know they are movement, just as my being in the sync with James and Calico this morning about the thoughts I wanted to bring today is I know that we are all moving in what in unity we call divine order, that we are always in the right place at the right time, right now. But that's a choice. That's a choice, like seeing only love, to recognize that wherever you are and whatever is going on, it's for your good. It's not about what's going on out there. It is all about me as I become into deeper awareness and choose that alignment with the holy and the divine within me and around me that says, if this is in my face right now, it has a gift. Will I unwrap it, or will I remain in struggle and stay in the narrow space rather than seek the spaciousness of the holy? Thank you, James.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks to both of you. And I'm so glad, Margie, that you brought up this choice. We're always making a choice, and that choice is either love or fear. It's either to see what can be seen or what can never be seen. And it is amazing how often we choose that which could never possibly be seen, especially, and we talked about this yesterday, especially in our desire for the special relationship. Okay, it's the special relationship that so often hooks us. Says, oh, there is hope. There actually is the possibility of finding someone, even though I feel complete. There's nothing consciously in my mind that says I'm incomplete. There's still that hint of rapture that comes when I welcome someone who finds just the right place in me. Right, just the right little nook and corner that fills that space that I unconsciously still felt was open and empty. And once again, it keeps coming back to a resolute and unwavering focus on what is true. That's what dispels all illusions. I have to be willing to keep that focus. And there's obviously, it's wonderful to welcome someone into your life, to have someone be the reflection of the beloved, but not to fill an empty space, because in reality, there are no empty spaces. But we project those empty spaces. We choose those. That's the choice. Am I going to see what can be seen or what could never be seen? So let's realize today that we do have a choice. And that choice is always love. And if we choose love in every moment, we'll be perfectly directed to where we should go, what we should do, what we should say, how we will live in that moment. And it's a moment to moment thing. And don't be worried if you find yourself wandering off. That's okay. Just come on back. Your home doesn't leave. You may leave your home, but your home doesn't leave. It's always there to return. So, Calico, any final thoughts from you before we go? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. You know what? Since we have a few more minutes, so let's just open it up and see if there's anyone else out there who would like to share. Let me go ahead and put us, I'm going to put everybody on gallery view, and I'll look out and see if there's anyone shining and shimmering, and or if anyone has anything they'd like to share. Not many of you have your cameras on. Hard to see. Oh, good to see you, Renate. I hope you can come back soon. Who else do we have out there? Marianne, lovely. Amrit sitting up in her room. Hey, Prem. Hey, Prem, you're shining right now. What would you like to share? And then I always like to go to Sharon as well. So I'm gonna go to Sharon next. But Prem, if you're there and there's something that you would like to add to this, go right ahead.
When you started looking at the pictures, I knew you were going to choose me.
Somehow we always know.
I was walking this morning, as I usually am at this time, and I noticed in my own mind, there were what they call them in India, rajasic thoughts, which were thoughts of action. And then there was a thought of a friend who was experiencing anger. And I thought, okay, recognize these and turn them into gratitude. I have a thought of action. He has a thought of anger, but that's not really what's going on. What's really going on is the awakening. What's really going on is everything is being given to me to know, to actually experience constantly the love of God within me now. So in an instant, my mind switched. It just forgot about those. And it was, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And all of a sudden, Prem wasn't there anymore, but thank you was. It was just, and their body wasn't there. Walking down the street wasn't there. Thank you was the only thing there is. And as Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, there's no difference between gratitude and love and the love of God. So you can really use anything. You can use your friend's anger. You can use your own thoughts of, I got to do this, I got to do that. No, 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 no. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
So that's what keeps me happy all the time.
Oh, I'm so glad I called on you, Prem. That's perfect.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
I could feel there was something brewing in there. Thank you. That's all I can say.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And you're so right. Gratitude and love, they're like this. So let's
It's
just
the best party on the block.
Oh man. Yes, it is. So Sharon, good morning to you. What would you like to share with us?
Well, a little bit of stage fright. My palms are a little bit of sweat, but that's okay. I would like to just say to our dear Unity minister today that she is the light of the world. She is the Mother Teresa. Her impact is as great as the all, right? There's only one of us here, and you're it. So I just wanted to say that to you. You're so beautiful, and thank you for all you do in the name of love. And to James, I would like to say, what is whole only sees what's whole. And gosh, you are so holy, and we all are. And thank you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you all. I love us all. I love our group. And I just love joining. I just love everything about it. And Calico, you're so beautiful. So on behalf of everybody, I think we all feel this power, this undeniable, whatever it is. I can't even say it. There's no word. So thank you. That's it.
All right. It keeps coming back to gratitude, doesn't it? And we are
Sweaty.
grateful to each one. Your sweaty palms. That's okay. It's all right to feel the approach of that moment. That it's like, oh my goodness, here it comes. But to be grateful, gratitude, and we are so grateful to each one of you. You know, we live together at Namaste Village, and that is a great thing. But to know that there is this extended community with people all over the world who come together either here or they watch it on YouTube or whatever it may be. It's so powerful to know that we are here, we are here with this resolute, unwavering focus only on love. And we encourage one another in that. So that being said, Akal Dave, do you have something to quickly take us out and take us home?
Yes, when we were talking about special relationship and all, I just went to the prophet to read what he says of marriage. You were born together, and together you shall be forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. You shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone, even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. And then this is the photo that goes.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I think our themes are gratitude and spaciousness. Those are the two of the things that really came up a lot today. Gratitude and spaciousness. Give yourself space, but be grateful every moment for love's eternal moment. And to that we say, Amen, amen,
Amen.
amen, y
Amen.
punto. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Such
Thank
gratitude
you.
for you.
I love you
Thank
all.
you.
Love
Keep
you
them
all.
laughing.
Keep
Thank
them
you.
laughing. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day, everybody.